Hello everybody, Killatia here, and today we are doing a review of the Super Advantage controller for your Super Nintendo. This was a licensed joystick controller made by Asciiware. I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. I know they made a few other accessories for several other systems like the PlayStation and 64. I want to say the Game Boy series, but don't hold me to that. And of course, the Super Nintendo. And I like the design of their controller, the Super Advantage here, because it's designed almost like a American Super Nintendo, which is pretty awesome. They even got these knobs that supposed to represent the power and the reset switch. Obviously, they don't work the same. They're just for display, but it's a nice little feature here. And I also love that the colors on the buttons are not the boring old North American colors, but the nice Japanese color of the Super Famicom. It's a nice little touch here. And the joystick itself here, while it's not like micro switches or anything, but it honestly gets the job done, so I have no major complaints here. Another nice little feature on here is that the bottom of the controller, which is a little bit dirty, also have these rubber feet on the bottom here, so it won't move around like a crazy mofo, but your table might move around here. So, and of course you have slow button right here, which I found not very useful. All it does is pause on and off like at a fast pace, but what makes it unique is you can actually change the intensity of the slow buttons here, so that's pretty cool, in my opinion. And of course, you also have turbo button switches up here. Okay, middle part here is to be turbo, and the switch here is auto, so you don't have to press it. It'll just do the turbo firing on itself. And I like that all the individual buttons has switches, so if you want one button turbo but not the other one, there you go. And what also nice is that the turbo button features also have these switches right here to change the intensity, the intensity as well of the turbo firing, so that's a very nice feature. The only thing I don't really like about the design of this controller is where they place the L button. I honestly would have preferred it if they slide the button down with the R and have the L button above the R button right here. Because if you're playing like a fighting game that needs all 6 controllers, it's gonna be a little bit of a pain. But luckily, I'm not a huge fighting game fan at least on the SNES side, so it hasn't really been too much of a problem for me. And one last thing that this controller that I like is that it's not just compatible with the Super Nintendo, but compatible with all SNES clone systems like the Retro Duo and the Retro Trio by Retrobit. As a matter of fact, I actually have this connected to my Retron 5, which can not only do SNES but NES, Sega Genesis, Game Boy, and Famicom. So if you see me play like a Sonic the Hedgehog game on here while I'm demonstrating this controller, do not be surprised, okay? So anyways, let's go on ahead and test the little bad boy out with some Super Nintendo games. My apologies for the bad lighting at the moment, but you have to work with what you have to work with, unfortunately, and I'm not going to get any other chance to get a better shot here, so let's move on. And yes, I am testing a Super Nintendo controller on a Sega Genesis game, specifically Sonic 3. Oh, Retron 5, what can't you do? Anyways, controls are actually pretty good here, no major complaints. Wasn't really expecting this joystick, wasn't really expecting the joystick to be good for platformers, but doing a surprisingly decent job so far. And we got into the special stage here. So yeah, this is working pretty well, but oops, that was totally my bad here. Anyway, since we got that tested out, let's actually try a Super Nintendo game instead of being silly with a Sega Genesis game. Okay, now let's go on ahead and actually try a fighting game. One of the few fighting games I own for an older gaming system. Power Rangers, the Fighting Edition. Yeah. Yep. The controls are very responsive, you know. I just don't remember how to do the special moves. If I did, this segment of the review would be a whole lot better. You know what this game needs? A sequel. I wonder if Bandai actually made a sequel to this game. Hey, look at that! A spiritual sequel to Power Rangers the Fighting Game, Gundam Wing Endless Duel. And yes, it is a spiritual sequel, not, a traditional sequel. Anyway, let's stop talking. Let's actually get into the game. Oop. There we go. Oh yeah. It's a shame this game never really came to America because this is such an awesome fighting game as far as I'm concerned. Much better than Power Rangers, in my opinion. And Death Sight is down for the count. Okay, anyway, let's go on ahead and try to find ourselves a puzzle game to try out. And here's Puyo Puyo 2, or Super Puyo Puyo as the Retron 5 calls it, for the Super Nintendo. As you can see, the controls are pretty good so far. Yeah, Puyo Puyo is usually regarded as a Sega franchise these days, but yeah, this game has been seen on multiple different platforms before too. Oops. Ah, shoot, I was trying to go for a combo and I failed spectacularly. Okay, let's try one more game with the Super Advantage controller here. And that will be it for the review. Although I do have to say that this game is a little bit too sensitive with the Super Advantage. I'm not sure why, but anyways, let's move on. And here's Froggo, one of the final games to be released on the American Super Nintendo system. Here. Okay. Whoops, I got myself killed there. Yeah, it's I'm not gonna say it's a bad game. Frogger itself is considered to be a classic arcade game, but I'm just never really felt all that good with the Super Nintendo version because I always felt they could have done better graphically, and I gotta concentrate instead of talking because the controls. Okay, little slight problem. Constantly going left and right here with this game, but that's okay. I don't expect every game to work well with the Super Advantage here. Anyway, I did say that this was going to be the last game, but I actually found an old shoot 'em up on the Famicom that I wanted to test out with the controller here, so give me a few seconds. Alright, let's go on ahead and play some Asciiware here real quick with the Super Advantage here. Kind of funny that I'm playing a Nintendo game on a Super Nintendo controller when you think about it. Oops, missed that. Anyway, the big reason why I want to play a Smug real quick is to really test out the turbo function, the turbo firing function of this. So let's switch it on. Okay, slow first. Then with the sliding up the switch, it goes even faster. Going so fast and not even registering properly on the actual game. So yeah. And of course, there is auto fire here, so you don't even have to hold in the button. All you gotta do is dodge the enemies as you auto fire your way to victory. So yeah. I'm gonna go on ahead and pause here. So, is it worth picking up a Super Advantage for your Super Nintendo or your Super Nintendo clone system? Well, granted it didn't work well with Frogger. Then again, I found Frogger to be a poorly optimized game for the Super Nintendo. They could have done so much more with that game. But it did great with the Power Rangers fighting game. The Gundam fighting game had a slight issue with the Puyo Puyo game, but no real issues. And it's surprisingly well with the platformer like Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And obviously, as you've seen a few minutes ago, plays well with the shoot-'em-up games like Asciiware and some of the others. So yeah, I do say it's worth picking up. It goes online for about, I saw it at the cheapest $25 on Amazon. But I think you go anywhere but between $30 and $50 normally. I found mine at a local flea market a few years ago for $5 actually. So keep your eyes out if you're looking for some old school joystick controllers for your retro console like the SNES. So my final verdict on the Super Advantage, it gets a B. It would have gotten an A, but like I said, didn't work so well with Frogger. So anyways, that's my review of the Super Advantage. Hope you enjoy, and catch you all next time.